Good to see you.
Very good to see you as well, Robin, in this very challenging year.
I understand. And
How are
thank you
you
so
coping?
much for agreeing to our invitation.
Only a pleasure, and thank you for having me on board. It's only a pleasure to address Open Maps and, of course, all the prospective students in Kenya who would love to come and study in Australia. So, with
Sure.
us at ICMS. So, thank you so much for the invitation. Really appreciate it. Have we
Anytime.
got anyone else on board or any
Yeah,
students
we've got a
joining?
couple of students joining.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and we'll be admitting them as the meeting carries on.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I will rely on you to instigate how you want to lead the proceedings, and
Great.
I'll be more than happy to provide all the background. To talk directly from our website, so
Great.
the prospective students can go and find that information for themselves at any given time. So
Awesome.
I'm not going to use a PowerPoint or anything like that. I'm just going to talk directly from our website,
Great.
and I think what I'll do now is I will share my screen
Great.
and we'll go to the ICMS website directly.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Sure.
Right. So this is the ICMS homepage.
All right. So we can get started. Some of them will be
Fantastic.
joining as we
So
carry on.
no, that's great, Robin. So Jumbo, everyone, and welcome to this short webinar on studies in Sydney at ICMS. My name is Sean Palmer, and I am the Africa Manager for ICMS. And it's a great honor for me to be welcomed by Open Maps. So thank you for this opportunity. So ICMS is based in Manly Beach in Sydney, and we also have a campus in the city, which is in the heart of the CBD. And students can choose to either study on the castle on the hill or at the city CBD. So there's two campus options. Now, I'm just going to stay on the actual website because I feel that it's easier for students to go and access this information. And please, if you have any questions, please interject at any time because I tend to go through things quite quickly. But if you've got any questions, please feel free to stop me. I'm sure some students will be posting some questions as well, which I'll happily answer. But let's proceed. Now, ICMS is one of the leading business schools in Australia, and the whole principle of ICMS is to create future business leaders. And that's evident from the attire. For example, I will play you a short video in a minute, which depicts a typical day in the life of an ICMS student. And when I refer to ICMS attire, you'll notice that it's business attire at lectures, okay? Because we need our students to start believing in themselves and believing that they are future business leaders. And that's the crux of what ICMS is built on. So I'm going to play a short 30-second video clip, which depicts a typical day at ICMS. And it also shows the small classroom environment. And that's very important for students to know, is that you're not going to go into a classroom of 100 students. Now, we're business professionals. We're the best at what we do. And you'll be going into a small class environment where you will know your lecturers personally and they will know you personally by name. And it's a very, very intimate environment. So here goes. I'm just going to play a short video.
Sean? Hello, Sean? This video hasn't volume.
Inspired anyone to even slightly consider studying with us in Manly, then I don't think anything will. Okay, so that is a typical day in the life of an ICMS student, and there's a very good balance between work and play. ICMS is renowned as one of the most beautiful campuses. It's known as one of the most beautiful campuses in Australia. And Manly Beach, in fact, was rated by TripAdvisor as one of the most beautiful beaches in Australia as well. So in terms of a campus location, incredible. In terms of Sydney itself, now we must remember that Sydney is the powerhouse of Australia. A lot of the head offices are for big global businesses are in Sydney. So a lot of opportunities are found within Sydney. Looking at the campus itself, we have on-campus accommodation for our students. And we really recommend that at least for the first year or at least the first trimester or 2 trimesters that students try to stay on campus. Reason being is they get 3 meals a day. There's Wi-Fi throughout, and a lot of the sporting, the social and the cultural activities take place on campus. So we really highly recommend that students, at least for their first year, if possible, stay on campus. We do have several other off-campus accommodation options as well, but everything is located on our campus. And we have a shuttle bus that runs from the campus down to Manly Beach over here and into town. So really convenient for students. So it's only a 5-minute walk down to Shelley Beach and about a 10-minute walk down to Manly Beach from the campus. So really good balance of studies and social life. And what's also very important to mention, particularly to a lot of the parents out there, is that Manly and Sydney it's a very safe environment, particularly Manly Beach. It's a very affluent area. So for the younger students, 18 and plus, a lot of parents worry about their child's safety. I must add that it's a very, very safe environment. Okay. So I think you've got an idea of what the campus looks like. And I'd like to just elaborate a little bit more on what makes ICMS different. And these are some pretty impressive statistics. So here's the first: 9 out of 10 students will graduate with a job in their field. Okay?
That's absolutely fantastic.
So by the time the students graduate, they would have a job in their field. Now, for international students, after completing a 3-year bachelor degree or a 2-year master degree, they will be allowed to apply for a 2-year post-study work visa, which is an integral part of their studies. So for any bachelor student or master student, I can highly recommend applying for that 2-year post-study work visa, because getting that international work experience is what it's all about. And perhaps bringing those skills back to their home country is incredible. So there we go. 9 out of 10 students, by the time they graduate, will have a job, and that's higher than the G8. Okay, we have students from over 50 countries. Now, about half our student population are Australian, and the other half of the students are from around the world. And my advice to any international students, and for the students coming from Kenya, don't only make friends with Kenyan students. Okay, you need to have an American friend, a friend from Switzerland, a friend from the UK, Australia, and so on. So these are going to be your future business partners in life. So it's very important to associate and get involved and really integrate well with the students on campus. That's what it's all about. Right, I'm just going to go a little bit further. And let's have a look at some of the programs. I think we'll have on this webinar, we'll have those looking at undergraduate studies as well as postgraduate studies. Am I correct, Robin?
Sure.
Okay, all right. So if we look at our undergraduate programs, there's the Bachelor of Business degree. There's a Bachelor of Business with a specialization in entrepreneurship. There's marketing. Sports management is an incredible program. And, you know, these are people that don't necessarily have to be good sportsmen or good sportswomen themselves, but they need to have a real passion for sport and working in that sporting environment. Must add at this stage that in our undergraduate degrees, our students will receive up to 9 months industry placement, okay, which is work integrated learning. And the key benefit of this is that the students don't need to find the job themselves, okay. We have a placement team that will place our students into a work placement for up to 9 months within the bachelor degree. So by the time the students graduate, they will have up to 9 months of work experience on their portfolio, on their CVs to enter the marketplace. International tourism, an interesting program during COVID-19. So there's not much tourism happening at the moment, but we all pray that this silly year will pass and the tourism industry will boom again. I think for those who are commencing international tourism now in the new year, in 3 years' time, I think it'll be a much prettier picture than it is now, hopefully. Bachelor of Events Management is a very specialized qualification, and a Bachelor of Hospitality Management as well. Now, I must add at this point that ICMS, we rank #1 in Australia for events management and hospitality management. These are incredible courses. And then, of course, one of my favorites, the Bachelor of Property. Now, a bit about me personally, I studied marketing and I did my master's in marketing, which I do not regret. But I think personally, if I could change what I studied, I would be looking at property. And this is just something that I see as a future career, something that I'm passionate about, and a very interesting program for you to counsel prospective students on, because it's all about the developments. It's about the investments and the valuation of properties. And as the population expands, as the world expands, there's definitely going to be a future need for people in this career.
Right.
So let's move on to the postgraduate programs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very important. So ICMS has a master's degree, which is a 2-year program.
Hello, Sean.
Okay. Yes.
If I may just interrupt you a little bit before you get into the PG.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just talk about some of the course durations for your for the undergraduate courses?
Course.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course. And don't forget, if you miss any of what I say, the information is on this website. We're talking live from the website. But a bachelor degree has a duration of 3 years. Okay. So that's the typical duration.
Great.
Of an Australian bachelor's degree. Okay. Anything else before? And we can revisit these questions as well.
Great.
Right. So postgraduate studies. Now, ICMS has designed its master degrees to have a duration of 2 years. Okay. And the reason we do that is because in order for an international student to be able to qualify and apply for a 2-year post-study working visa and benefit from that experience, the master's degree has to be 2 years. However, it's not 2 years of pure study. Once again, in true ICMS fashion, we've built in integrated work experience into the master's program. So the final 6 months of a master's degree is work integrated learning. And once again, this is controlled and administered by ICMS, our work integrated learning team. for placements into industry. So the student won't need to go and find the job on their own accord. This is something that is arranged and administered by ICMS directly. So typically students would study for 18 months and then in the final 6 months, do a work placement. And once again, 90% of our students that when they graduate, a lot of them will actually go and work for the same company that they did their work placement in, because that continuation is good. Okay, so we offer a master in event management, international business. Now, from the African region, the two most popular ones at the moment are international business and master of management. And then we do a specialization in tourism and hospitality. Then we also have standalone courses, such as the graduate certificate in business, graduate certificate in events management, graduate certificate in business with media and marketing, and then the tourism and hospitality specialization. And in essence, the graduate certificate in business is the first 6 months of the 2-year master's degree. I'd say majority of the international students, they would definitely take part in the 2-year master degree. The only difference is the graduate certificate in business has a slightly lower English entrance criteria. So we're looking at an IELTS level equivalent of 6.0, whereas the master's level courses are 6.5. So the graduate certificate in business is a precondition to get into the master's program, and it makes the English language requirement a little bit less stringent. And then, of course, we have some programs for those that perhaps didn't perform as well in their final school year as they were hoping, and didn't receive the grades.
If they have a study gap or something.
Yeah, if they didn't perhaps get the grades that they were hoping for in their final school year, we have pathway programs such as foundation years, and we also have diplomas. Okay, and for example, the diplomas, and I'll just click on to some of these to show you, is essentially the first year of a bachelor's degree, and you'll find that the entrance criteria are slightly lower than getting straight into a bachelor's degree. In fact, there's no real difference because the diploma is the first year of the bachelor's degree. It just has that condition on that, in that a student would need to pass the diploma in order to move on to the second year of a bachelor's degree. So the diploma and bachelor's will still take a duration of 3 years. However, with Aspire Institute, we have some, which is part of ICMS, it's one of our institutions. There are some other options as well. So a student could come and do a diploma in business management with us, for example, which is the pathway to UTS and various other universities in Australia as well, which is very attractive for some students. And however, we believe that most students would stay with ICMS for the duration of another 2 years to complete their degree. But there is that option to pathway from a diploma in business management to UTS or our other partner universities, which is a great option because a student might want to do their second and third year in a different part of Australia, maybe Perth or somewhere else. And those are the options there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think everyone wants to hear about the scholarships, don't they?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So let's go on to scholarships. If you click on the Future Students tab, there'll be a lot of information all about admissions. Now, remember, Openmaps will be looking after the admissions for ICMS. And all admissions should go directly through Openmaps, and that will come through to me to help and get offer letters from our admissions department. And the well-trained and knowledgeable staff at Openmaps will guide you through that process clearly. Scholarships is on this page. Tuition fees, important dates. Okay. That just reminds me that I forgot to mention something about our postgraduate studies, the intakes and undergraduate studies as well. So undergraduate, we have intakes in February, end of May, September, and we do have interval intakes as well for extenuating circumstances. But 3 main intakes per year: February, May, June, and September. Postgraduate is February, July, and October. Also with some interval intakes as well for those students that cannot join on a particular time. So there is a bit of flexibility. We're looking at 3 intakes per year for undergraduate and postgraduate studies. Right. Also good to have a look at is accommodation. All right. All about our orientation day. And I urge you to look at the orientation day, because this is something integral to ICMS as welcoming our international students on campus. And we have a lot of fun. Okay. And then all the other peripheral services that we offer as well: health and medical services, our library, what happens on campus, our social life is all there for you to look at your leisure, as well as sport. Sport is quite a big thing, and will be a big thing for quite a few Kenyan students, I believe, as well. But let's cut to the chase, and everyone's looking at asking questions on scholarships, so let's go right ahead. So all our scholarship information is directly on our website, okay? And I must add at this stage that the scholarship program is something that is very, very important to ICMS, in that we feel the importance to give back to the community, and it's headed by Anne Courtney O'Connor, and this has been her passion since the inception. And interestingly, ICMS is one of the highest student to scholarship ratio institutions in Australia. So there are generous scholarships available. Now, there's 2 kinds of scholarships. There's scholarships for new international students, okay? So those that display exceptional qualities will qualify for an interview to obtain a scholarship. But then we also have on-campus scholarships as well. So we reward students who get involved on campus, who perform well, get superior grades, are well known on campus, and interact and show future business leadership skills. These students are rewarded with scholarships as well. So there's scholarships for new students. Those that are unsuccessful in securing a new student scholarship, there's always a chance for them to secure a scholarship whilst they are studying with us in Sydney. That's really important to know. Okay. All right, so we'll go through the scholarship. What is a common misconception, particularly with international students, is full scholarships. ICMS doesn't offer full scholarships where they will pay for all your tuition fees and all your accommodation and all your living expenses. These, as far as I know, don't really exist, and it's a common misconception among students that we have to explain that, you know, scholarships are generous and they're based on merit, but they don't cover all your fees. All right, let's have a look at the scholarships. So the scholarships process is clearly defined on the website, but how it works is a student would need to have an offer letter and be accepted by ICMS before applying for a scholarship. Okay, so interested students should submit an application with their supporting documents being school results or university results and transcripts, a copy of their passport, a copy of their CV, and a statement of purpose, and all the documents that Openmaps that will advise. And that gets verified by our admissions department, and we're really quick. So once we receive those documents, you can expect to receive an offer letter within 48 hours. Okay, so that process is really fast. And with an acceptance from ICMS, a student can proceed and apply for a scholarship. So it's important to be mindful of the scholarship closing dates. Okay. This one I've clicked on, sorry, it's for domestic students. So there's domestic student scholarships as well as those for international students as well. Let's look at the undergraduate, new international students. Okay. So this scholarship is to a value of up to 15,000 Australian dollars, not US dollars, Australian dollars. And there is a closing date of Friday, the 1st of January, for those looking to commence their studies in January 2021. Okay. And then it goes through the application process. So a student would need to have an unconditional letter of offer, as well as accept that unconditional letter of offer. They'd have to download the scholarship form, complete the application form. There'll be an essay that the students, prospective students, would need to submit, and that would be assessed by the scholarship committee. And if successful, they'll be invited to a live interview for the scholarship award. So there is a process. Now, ICMS also offers a number of bursaries, and these bursaries are particularly available to students in Kenya. Okay, and I will be sharing with Robin the bursary, the new bursary amounts being released for February. And there are generous bursaries amounts being issued in addition to scholarships. However, students who are awarded a scholarship cannot benefit from the bursary amount as well. Okay, so Robin or one of the counselors at Openmaps will be able to advise you on the bursaries for February. I will be sending these through to you. They've just been released and they're very generous. It's also an interview process. But we look forward to sharing with those with Openmaps very soon.
And Sean, did you tell them the process is very fair and straightforward? The scholarship application.
It's very it's very difficult and it's very rigorous. No, rigorous. I'm joking. The process is very straightforward, very easy. However, students need to bear in mind that we receive many scholarship applications each term, and you know, they really need to put a lot of effort into their essays and a lot of effort into you know, that interview to obtain these scholarships. And I can tell you now, the best thing to go and do is to go to YouTube and watch our scholarship award ceremonies. That is a quite incredible thing to do. Okay, so we're going to move on. Is everyone clear on how to apply for a scholarship or bursary? One needs to have an acceptance letter first, and then immediately thereafter we can proceed to requesting.
Rachel, Linda, do we have any questions for Sean?
No.
All right.
Everything is clear.
Great, thanks. So just a heads up, ICMS application process is pretty much straightforward. For Kenyan students, what we need is the KCSE certificate, your statement of purpose, which will guide you on how to write. Besides that, you also need to have an IELTS. But if you don't have your IELTS ready, but you have a confirmation of booking for the IELTS, we can apply for you to get a conditional letter of offer. Sean, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
exactly. And even if you don't have your passport ready, as long as you have your national ID and evidence of your passport application, then we can carry on with that and you secure an offer letter as you get started in this interesting journey. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Robin, if I may, just play another short inspirational video. And this is a video about Thabo from South Africa, who received a scholarship from ICMS.
Yes.
And I just want to show prospective students out there what they can achieve and what the scholarship program is all about. So if you can just bear with us for just a minute and 46 seconds, I would like the audience to listen to Thabo. Thanks, Robin.
All right.